Pete!
I'm Dr. Stephen Strange.
Hey, fellas. Hey!
Hey.
Send these guys back to their universes.
So today I just wanted to sort of take you through how I do my stop motions. So usually I start out here because it's sort of a controlled environment, so I can control the lighting. It's probably best to do it somewhere indoors and probably away from a window because you want the lighting to be consistent, because sometimes it can take hours to do a stop motion, and if you do it like by a window or outside or something, the sun's moved and so the lighting will change a lot, and it will mess up your stop motion. So this is my tripod here, and normally I put my camera here, but for stop motion I actually use my phone. So I use this app, if you can see it there. It's called Stop Motion Studio. You can download it in the App Store. So you can open it up and it saves all your past stop motions and stuff. But you can hit new video and it opens up like this. And the reason I use my phone and I use this app instead of using a camera is because this app here actually helps you see like your previous shot. So I'll show you that here in a second, but I'm going to get this set up. So what I use is I use my regular tripod here, and then I have this attachment here that I can actually put my phone in, and then it just hooks right down in there. And then I have this deal on top to where I can actually sit another light, so like a filler light and stuff like that on top here. And then I just hook my phone right in there when I'm using it for this setup here. But I also have this setup here, or this tripod here that I use. It sort of bends out and stuff, so if I'm doing it like on top of a shelf or on the ground, or I need like some crazy angle, I use this a lot because it helps get sort of unique shots and stuff. But I'll go ahead and set this up. Okay, so I got my phone set up on the tripod here, and you'll have to adjust the settings. You can do auto, but I usually do like manual, because sometimes for some reason on my phone it likes to change the lighting if I do it on auto, which messes it up, so it goes like light, dark, light, dark, light, dark all the time. So if you do it manually, it'll stay there for the whole time you're shooting. So we'll take a look here. So speed, that's the frame rate. I usually do about 12 frames per second. I think that looks pretty good. Anywhere from 12 to 15 usually looks the best. But we're here on the screen, and I hit the settings. That's how I got to that when we first opened it here. And then you go to the camera. You go down here, and this is the other settings like the focus and the zoom. So we'll zoom in a little bit on the Spider-Man's here. And I know it's a little blurry, I gotta fix that on my phone. So I zoomed in a little bit, and then this is the shutter. So we'll make it a little brighter here. And ISO makes it lighter and darker too. And so the focus, there we go, that's a little better. Make it a tad bit brighter. Well, actually, we'll turn it down a little bit because I still got to turn on my lights here. So we'll turn those on real quick. I'm sorry if it's really bright. Okay, so now I'm going to have to readjust the settings here. Make it a little darker because that's way too bright there. Let's see, and we'll focus a little better. And another thing is because my phone has like the auto brightness or whatever for the screen. So I go down and turn that as bright as possible. That way I actually know what it's supposed to look like here. And it looks pretty good on my screen. It's not going to look good on here though, because I have to adjust this a little bit. If I turn it a little darker. Looks pretty good, pretty focused and everything. Okay, so then obviously the red button is to take the picture. I'm just going to take a picture real quick. Okay, we took one picture. Alright, so this little slider over here shows you like the opacity, so the amount you can actually see your previous photo. So let's move him like right over here. Okay, so now he's in a different spot. So now you see how it looks different there. So this over here is where he was before. This is where I just moved him. So you can change that. So the higher you go up, the more you see the current position. So if I go all the way down, now I'm seeing the previous photo. So I like to keep it about halfway through. That way I can sort of tell where he's at. So this comes really helpful. Comes in handy a lot because, as you know, action figures like to fall over all the time. So I'll move him back to right about where he was in the first frame. Okay. Oh. So I got him pretty much aligned back where he was. So now let's say you're just wanting to make his arm move slightly. So this is where he was. I just slightly move it up like that. And you take another picture. I'll play it. That doesn't look very good. But that's the basic idea of it. So you're able to see every little photo and stuff. And that's why I use my phone and use this app, because if I was using just my camera or something, it'd be super hard to tell where he was last, especially if he falls over, because I've had that happen several times where they fall over and I have to look back at the previous image to sort of see where they were and line them back up and everything. So that's why I use my phone and use this app, because it makes it so much easier. And then you can change the frame rate and everything like I showed you before. And then once you're done with your stop motion, you can go back again, automatically saves it. And this is all my different stop motions that I've done. But you scroll to the bottom, this is the one we just did. You hit those 3 little lines there. And you can go to export movie. You go save as. And then you just type in whatever you want it to be saved as down here. And then you click save and it will save it into your downloads. I'm not going to save it though because that one wasn't very good. But it's pretty easy. Once again, that's Stop Motion Studio. That's that app there. This is what I've used to make all my stop motions. So it's pretty cool. And like I said, you definitely want to make sure that you have it somewhere where you can control the lighting. Make sure the lighting's good. Because if you do it where like outside or by a window or something where the light's constantly changing, it's going to mess up your stop motion. It's going to look weird. Each photo is going to have like a different lighting and stuff. You don't necessarily have to have this set up, but you can do it wherever. Just control the lighting there. I'll put a link to some of the stuff that I use, like my tripod and stuff, and I'll try and find a link to that Stop Motion Studio app. But if not, you can go back in the video and look at that. It's called Stop Motion Studio. So you should be able to find it in your app store. And it really helps a lot when you're doing your stop motion. And then you just sort of play around with it. The motion of the figures is the most challenging. And I've really had to learn that quite a bit. Just trying to think of how they move and everything. And definitely the more pictures you take, like if you just barely move his arm a little bit like this, the cleaner it will look. And then there's also the aspect of the speed that you're wanting it to go. So obviously, like if you're wanting his arm to move really slowly, you'll just barely move it. And if you're wanting to go fast, you'll sort of space him out more and it'll make it go faster. But that's all stuff you'll sort of have to play around with and mess with. I'm still learning. I'm not the greatest at it, but I've gotten a lot better since I've started. That is how I do it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day.